Hi, Rebecca.
Good morning.
Hello, Karen. Welcome. Hello, Jackie. Welcome. Thanks for joining in. I know it's busy. Mira and Natasha. Wow, Paul's already popped up. Okay, well, look, we usually go, hi everyone, my name is Vic Dunn from Computer Tier. We usually give everyone a bit of, a couple of minutes. Everyone's clock's might be slightly out, but we do want to start relatively on time, just not to penalize anyone who have kept up to the timing. So in the meantime, we've got a bit of an icebreaker poll so that you can help us get a better understanding of where you sit and who do you report to, and what's your perception of our topic today, which is about getting leadership buy-in. So if you don't mind spending a few seconds to just click on a few things, we'll get cracking shortly. Good morning, Nikki. Good morning, Annabelle. For those who are joining us for the first time, don't be shy. I'm sure we've all had different Zoom episodes for the last year and a half. So unless there's a disaster going on in the background, love to see your face in camera so that we can see where we're going, whether we're being interactive enough. And there will be plenty of opportunities for everyone to ask questions as well. So. Morning, Jenny. It's 2 pages now. Morning, Carlos. Okay, so again, for those who have just joined us, we're going to be signing soon. But in the meantime, there's a quick poll just asking a few relevant questions to give us a bit of an idea where you come from and what your background might be, and getting some information that's relevant to the topic today. So if you don't mind making a few clicks, that will give us a bit of information about what you're looking for today as well. How are we tracking, Liv?
We're doing pretty well. I think we can kick off in a minute.
Cool. The session is being recorded, so as much as I love to see everyone's faces, if you're uncomfortable about sharing, then obviously, keep your cameras on. Again, I don't think I've seen my own variety of backgrounds, and I've got a kid, so other than my home office, every room is a disaster, so don't be shy. And yeah, we'll be getting on shortly. We're expecting probably about 30 to 40 people here today. It is close to the end of financial year, so we'll see how we go, but we'll definitely keep in touch and make some connections afterwards.
Hi everyone. Yeah, I think you said hi before, and then there was a bit of an update, so I'm back in. Anyway, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Carlos. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Liv, let's do it. All right, thank you everyone for coming. I'd like to start by acknowledging the Garigai people, the traditional custodians of the land that is now called Ku-ring-gai, which is where I'm connecting with you from today. I also like to pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging, and acknowledge any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people joining us at this event. I guess first off, welcome. Welcome to the next part of our Sustainable Leadership series. I know that we're getting dangerously close to the end of financial year, and I know everyone must be really busy. So I do appreciate your participation today, and also to continue to connect with other like-minded people and share your insights through these events. What I want to do is just quickly test out the tech and start sharing my slide. I promise the deck is not that thick. Give me a second. Cool. Okay. So a bit about myself. So I guess just to start off with, for those who don't know me, I'm Victor Lee. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Communitia. We're a social enterprise with the mission to connect, engage, and mobilize volunteers to tackle the world's greatest challenges. We combine both programmatic and technological solutions to create measurable and scalable impact. And through our expertise and ongoing support, we would love to kind of co-design corporate volunteering programs that help organizations increase their staff engagement, become an employer of choice, and also maximize the measurable impact as well. Now, for those who know us, we've been around in the ESG space for several years, and we've come across many, I guess, professionals in the CSR, sustainability, and HR space that share common challenges as they try to deliver their corporate giving strategy, especially at scale. As such, we've been running these two sets of complementary events. We call this the series, the Sustainable Leadership Series, as well as our Corporate Giving Masterclasses, so that we can actually bring relevant panelists together to share their experiences and insights whilst drawing on the wisdom of the crowd as well. Speaking of the panelists, I just want to take this moment and also introduce you to our two guest speakers today. We're really honored to have Carl and Kelly here on our panel today, and I think rather than me reciting off a script, why don't you just hear directly from the panelists themselves so that they can tell you a bit about themselves and also maybe what does creating a positive impact mean to you? So Kelly, may I ask you to go first?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining and thank you for having me on the panel. I'm super excited to be here. I am the head of Felix. Most of you probably doesn't know much about Felix, so I thought I'd give you just a quick overview of Felix. We are the newest mobile phone plan provider in Australia. We launched in November 2020, and our focus is around digital, simplicity, and sustainability. So think, I guess, neobanks in terms of digital. So we've got 100% app-based experience for everyone from sign up to self-serve, which is awesome. So really meeting our customer expectations in terms of digital experience. From a simplicity point of view, I would say we're probably the simplest telco in the world. We have only one plan, which is $35 a month for unlimited everything, unlimited data, talk and text, which is pretty amazing in terms of value, all on a no lock-in contract. And then last but not least, and most importantly, is our sustainability. So we're really, really proud to be a leader in terms of sustainability in the telco industry. We've won a number of different awards that recognise the work that we're doing. We launched and we knew we had to be more than just carbon neutral. So we're carbon neutral, but we're also the first and only telco to be 100% powered by renewable electricity. And most importantly, we actually plant one tree for every month that the customer is with us. So if you're with us for a year, you get 12 trees planted. And so far we've planted over 390,000 trees. Wow. It was 389,999 yesterday. So good. And we're on our way to our goal of 1 million. So really, really proud of what we're doing. I guess thinking about how can we do good from a corporate point of view. Felix is a really, really good example. The team's so proud of what we're doing. If you are interested, Victor, I'm going to do a sales plug. If you're interested and want to learn more, please go on to felixmobile.com.au, and at the moment you can get your first month free using the code Felix. But Liv and Beck will send out some more details after the event. But thank you very much for having me. I'm looking forward to the discussion.
Thanks, Kelly. Over to you, Carl.
Wow, I've got to say, I'm going to transfer all my mobiles to you because no, I'm not joking. Let's do that because I've been with Optus. I've been with Optus now for far too long, and it's time to change. So, hi everyone, and Victor, thank you for having me along. And I just want to say thank you to Olivia and Rebecca and Phoebe for coordinating all of this. I know how hard it is to put these things together. So well done, everybody. So I'm Carl. I'm the founder of Meet Magic, which is, I think we started around the same time, Victor, a few years ago on the Growth Project. But we are a global digital platform for business leaders to make new business connections on a weekly or a monthly basis and raise funds for charities by doing so. So we kind of know what our users' short and long-term business goals are. And in a data sort of driven way, we raise funds for charities by matching them together to make new connections. And I think to date, we've given over $1 million away through these meetings. And it's the first platform to offer a new purposeful way to meet for business while supporting local charities at the same time. I think for business leaders, we've developed a method for them to connect for new conversations, for discovery, a bit like networking and discovery, but they can help their business succeed and they can unlock much needed funds for charities at the same time.
Brilliant. Thanks, Carl, and thank you, Kelly, for a brief introduction. I'm sure we'll hear more from both organizations throughout our discussion. I'm going to stop the slide for a while because it's not about a presentation today, it's actually about discussion. So I guess today we're looking at the age-old issue of getting your leaders buy-in to support your corporate giving program. And yes, doing good is not necessarily good enough a business case by itself. So I guess to our audience, the next 30 minutes will be our panel discussion. We've got a few questions prepared to get things started, but feel free to type your questions straight into the chat room. I know we've got a good mix of business leaders as well as specialists in the ESG space. So I'll be very interested in hearing contrasting viewpoints and just kind of pop the questions out there. Maybe our panelists can answer them. Maybe other people in the crowd can also answer them as well. But I guess for me, both Olivia, who's our events coordinator from Communitia on the headphones, and I will be monitoring the chat room and would either intercept a conversation with your question or just ask them towards the end when the panelist section has finished. So for those who haven't used Zoom for a while or have used other tools, the best way to hear from us is actually to select the speaker view. So if you click on speaker mode on the top right, then you can kind of have the big zoom in face to whoever's speaking, and instead of looking at 40 boxes, that's the way to go. Anyway, let's get started. I'm going to get cracking with the first question. So to our panelists, Kelly and Eka, I guess, well, besides a handful of examples, I think the fact is that most senior leaders have not really participated in volunteering as much as some might want them to be or expect them to be. And I think that, you know, it's not that they somehow got less altruistic as they kind of climbed the corporate ladder. So what I wanted to start with is, well, what do you think are the blockers for them in participating in volunteering by itself?
I'll let you go first, Carl.
Well, look, I think time is the currency that everybody's got to play with, and I think what COVID's done is given us a hell of a lot more meetings in the diary, which shouldn't be there. And I think we've now become so accustomed to turning a 5-minute conversation around the water cooler into a 45-minute Zoom that it's just become back to back to back. And I think when you talk about volunteering or you talk about doing, you know, getting the executives involved, they often think about, oh, that's going to be more time needed. So I think it's time to rethink just the value of time and what we're doing with our time on a daily basis. And I think that's a starting point, I think, to getting more execs involved.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, Carl. I think for me, I mean, I've just been recently promoted into, I guess, a leadership position at Felix, and for me personally, it is definitely time. And it's not, but I think, I mean, I mentioned this to you guys earlier. It's not necessarily because I'm a leader. It's, I feel for me, it's because of my life stage. So most of you don't know me, but I have 2 young children, a 2-year-old called Hugo and a 4-year-old called Sophia, and they are amazing. But you know, right now in my life, my role is to try and be the best possible leader for my team, and then be the best possible mum for Sophia and Hugo. And so I think right now I'm just trying to balance those things and to sort of add a third objective in terms of trying to be volunteering, you know, on a regular basis is struggle. I think back to my kind of mid-20s, and I was, don't look at me terribly, but I was actually investment banking and obviously long hours working. So time was also important, but I didn't have kids. So on the weekends, that's when I volunteered and I mentored underprivileged kids and, you know, really enjoyed that. So it could be to do with the life stage. I'd say with life stage as well, depending on the leader and where they are with regards to having a family. Totally
agree. I mean, Vicky, our head of customer experience, she constantly turns up to the meetings with her kids on her lap, and they become a part of the team.
Yeah, my whole team knows my kids. So. But absolutely, I think time. I think you've bang on though, Carl, in terms of time. It's like how do you make it so you can be more efficient with your time, so then you can use it in a way which I know that most leaders want to do.
They do, they really do. And I even yesterday I was talking to a couple of CISOs at the Gartner conference, and they were telling me how their inbox has become so overwhelmed. So it's almost like we've got a notification for the next Zoom meeting, we've got a notification for this. There's all these inbound requests for their time for meetings and lunches and dinners, and it's like overwhelming. And so and they want to be able to respond to them all, but they just can't. There's just physically not enough time. And so I think it's time to rethink the value of our time and how we're spending it, definitely.
100%.
That's a good segue. I mean, my next question is going to be, well, given how busy executives are, you know, how do we get their attention to prioritize, you know, doing good and creating social impact as part of the agenda?
Well, I mean, I think for us, we've just made it easy for them, and a part of the problem that we have is getting the message out that it actually requires no extra time when we have a meeting, because we're having these meetings anyway. every day. So it's a part of that. And so I think once we let them see that there's actually no extra time needed to actually do good, then they're more susceptible to getting involved, and that's worked. And it's becoming a bit of a thing now. It's, you know, we're getting recognised at the sort of high end of the banks and big corporates, which is really nice to see. They're getting involved, and then we're able to recognise these execs. We've actually got an appreciation dinner coming up on the 14th of July, and there's 20 top end of town executives coming along, and we're going to say thank you to them for supporting us, to helping us give all that money away to charity and doing all that impact in the community. So I think it's once they see it, and it's a bit like the aha moment. They get the and that's when it becomes easier. But I think at the moment we're battling with all the perceptions of how it used to be about with time. And you know, I think a lot of these conferences that are happening at the moment, execs just want to get out of the office and go to a conference to get away from the office, or to spend a bit of time meeting some people, and that's what we're seeing. So I think I think it's the aha moment. Once they get to see that, they see how easy it is to volunteer and to do some good, it becomes easier.
Yeah, I agree with you, Carl. I think definitely you really need to get them to do it once. And then once I feel like they've done it once, then they will realise this is actually really rewarding. This is worthwhile. There's especially, you know, potentially bringing their employees and getting their employees to be part of it, driving employee engagement. But to get them to do it once, I think that's the struggle. So how do you actually get them to do it once? And for me, it really is around making it easy and convenient, which is obviously what you guys are doing, which is fantastic. But it's, I think, also talking about how do you talk about the tangible benefits of what this would mean to a company or a person or whoever they're helping and volunteering. So talking about that tangible benefits, making it easy and convenient, so they do it once, and once they've done it once, then hopefully, if they get that aha moment you're talking about, and then they'll want to do it again, and not just do it again, but word of mouth, and talk to their colleagues and, you know, get them involved as well. And that's, you know, it's funny because for Felix, we kind of had the same question. We knew that our customers wanted to do something good for the environment, but they just wanted a way to do it easy, make it easy and convenient and have a tangible impact.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, we just said, oh, well, you can easily do that. If you switch providers, you can have a positive impact on the environment that's easy and convenient. Yep. You don't even have to pay more, and it's tangible because you can see how many trees you're planting. So I think easy, convenience and tangibility is really important.
It so is, and it's all the soft stuff that you don't really see, like the feel good factor. I mean, tongue in cheek, I call myself a dopamine dealer on LinkedIn, but it's pretty true, because when you do some good, you feel good about doing that good, and that makes you become a better leader. It makes you more engaged at work. You're more productive at work. You get promoted a lot easier because you're more engaged and more productive. So it becomes, doing good actually does do good, not just for the world, but for your own career at the same time.
And for yourself, I think, as a person.
Well, exactly. You're a better mum. You're a better dad. You're a better husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, whatever it is. It becomes. This dopamine is quite addictive.
I guess maybe if I look at it from a corporate perspective, from your point of view, do you think there's a way that we can kind of redefine or reposition corporate giving or create social impact so that it's viewed more of an investment rather than a cost center, so to speak?
Yeah, I personally absolutely do. And I think, for me, Felix is the way that we can do that. So, and as an example of how in a way I've been able to do it within Vodafone. So before Felix came to be, Vodafone didn't even have a CSR functionality. So it really hadn't really even taken many steps in terms of CSR in itself. And what I felt very strongly about Felix, I was actually asked to create a digital-only sub-brand. So a bigger purpose was not even part of the brief. But what I felt really strongly was that there was a huge gap within what Vodafone was doing, and this was a real opportunity for me to do exactly this, to change it from a cost centre to actually viewing it as an investment in terms of being a leader in sustainability, but also an investment in our customers and our employees, because it really does drive customer engagement and employee engagement. Yeah. So I think it's by redefining CSR and not making it and I don't, maybe this is controversial because I know there's a lot of CSR people on here, so maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but redefining itself, it's not just about CSR, it's not just one person doing this and driving the organisation, but making it about a broader purpose of whatever company you're working with.
Yeah.
So have a social purpose for the company that really then can drive that employee engagement, and even, start bringing it into customer-facing communications as well, which will also drive customer engagement. And I feel like way we've done it with Felix has been really successful, and we do donate huge in terms of our tree planting. We work with our partner One Tree Planet, and that's a non-profit organisation, and a lot of there's a material amount of donations that go towards that for tree planting, and it's absolutely not viewed as a cost centre. It is absolutely viewed as an investment in not just Felix but also the broader TPG Telecom business.
And I think as it should be, which is really well said, because I think right now, if you look at every business, well, what is the oxygen that a business needs? Well, it's money, it's capital. And if you're seeing your CSR as a cost center, then you're quite mistaken, because this is the only way to attract that impact capital into your business, by doing good, because there's a lot of money out there that is looking for a home that is doing for companies that are doing good, but you actually have to prove that you're doing good. And it's not just saying you're doing it, but actually demonstrate that you're doing it. And that's actually the CSR function. So they're actually doing those things already. So in order to attract that oxygen into your business in the form of capital, you've got to be doing good. And I think what you're doing with planting trees is great. But there's also the soft side of this doing good at the same time for the employees, because you think about the health and well-being of the employees. So CSR and I think in HR really should come together, because this is about employee wellness and everything else. And when you've got employees at work that are working back-to-back meetings and they're becoming stressed out, and because of all the meetings that they've had and whatever else, this becomes a great way for them to actually de-stress and have a more engaged workforce because of the impact that they're doing. I think it was Arianna Huffington you remember the Huffington Post? Well, she sold it because she burnt out, because she talked about back-to-back meetings being the cause of this. And she actually burnt out and fell over and cracked her head on the side of a desk and almost died. And so she said, enough's enough. And she's now on a mission to make health and wellness at work a big deal. And she's using meetings as the fundamental driver for that, because there's too many that should have been a text and should have been an email. So I think the soft side of this whole CSR thing is all about employee health and wellness. And it all comes together, I think, and links in very well with doing good.
The other thing which we all know, and I guess because we're a digital business, so our target audience is 18 to 35-year-olds, and I'm sure everyone knows this, but this demographic really wants brands that don't stand for just profitability.
Yeah.
They want to choose to invest in brands that stand for a bigger purpose, that does more than make money, that does good. So it's definitely 100% the employee side of things, but depending on what you're doing and the company you are, it could also be a customer engagement possibility as well. And therefore it becomes not just it's not a cost center, it actually becomes a driver of acquisition and growth of your company as well.
Totally. Absolutely. And that impact capital, there's loads of it out there. And it's looking for you've got to be demonstrating that you're doing good in order to attract it. Yeah. If you can't, then so it's actually quite dangerous to not say that CSR is a fundamental part of the business. You're actually putting yourself at risk.
It needs to be embedded in the DNA of your business.
Totally.
Kelly, I just want to go back to some of the things that you said about almost the inception of Felix, and obviously share as much as you can, which is, I'm interested in, if we kind of wind back a few years, how was the business case of Felix and having a sustainable angle conceptualized? Like, what did you have to supply to then justify, okay, well, this is all about sustainability and this is what we're going to offer and attract customers?
Yeah, it's actually
a few more points.
The journey. I love this story, to be honest. The journey of Felix. Iñaki, the CEO, came to myself and said, "Can you launch a digital-only sub-brand?" So it was about, really understanding that customers are increasingly moving to digital channels, which is what we were seeing, and that, quite frankly, the telco industry did not have a customer experience that met those digital expectations. And you'd seen like Upbank and the neobanks coming through from the financial services industry, and telcos didn't have that. So let's do something from a digital point of view that kind of disrupts the industry. But as you guys probably know, there's heaps of competition, highly competitive markets. So I think introducing just a digital-only sub-brand really wasn't going to cut through and make a difference. So I knew we needed to do something differently. And for me, it was actually just about talking to customers and understanding what they wanted. So in digital natives, 18 to 35, we spent a lot of time speaking to customers. And there were two key really obvious insights that came out of those discussions. The first one was an industry insight, which was that telcos were complicated, complex, overwhelming with choice, which I see some nods, and it's still the case. So people just really wanted something that was simple. And the second was more of a human or behavioural insight, which was around what I was talking about before, that they just wanted brands that stood for more than profitability. They wanted brands that had a bigger purpose, that did something good for the world, for whether, I mean, it could have been anything, mental health, sustainability, but really when we were drilling down in terms of what was their concerns, there was a real and growing concern around the environment. And this was obviously 3 years ago. It's increased materially. So we worked with our customers to understand what was the concern. So it was actually very easy. It was interesting. I went to present to the board at TPG, and at the time it was, I'd say, older demographic, definitely not in our target audience. And I was a bit nervous to present Felix. They thought cat food. And I thought, no, that's not right. And I wasn't sure how they would react to it, but the reaction was positive because it was based around the customer research. I'd spoken to the customers, and I guess I built the business case around what customers wanted, and customers wanted brands with a bigger purpose. So that's how I got it approved and across the line through, I guess, the exec, and obviously we've launched in November 2020, and everybody is unanimously agreeing that this has been a successful choice in terms of the sub-brand. So it's that's the story. Thanks for letting me share it, because it's really not about the company, it's about the customers.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I guess on your end, Carl, have you met any kind of corporate clients of yours, so to speak, where they're buying into what Big Magic stands for and what they provide in such a way so that they want all the execs to get involved?
Yeah, look, I think it's been a crazy journey. I mean, when I look at my life and how I started it, it was pretty poor, and I left school at 15, left home at 16. The traditional sob story that everyone gives these days. I've got war stories coming out, but it was literally 5, 6 or so years ago. I brought 300 disadvantaged kids from Clay